Hey Tiffany, and welcome to your personal 2019 Best Year Ever Tarot reading. I hope you've been doing fabulous and that you had an amazing anniversary. Thank you so much for your patience as well. This has just been such a busy time of year, and my schedule was just getting pushed back with how many emails I was getting, and it was just a lot of things going on, and then with the YouTube readings. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm really excited to share with you what came through in the meditation, and then we will get into the cards. But first, I always like to mention, that when I'm doing these year ahead readings, as you know, I'm more looking at the energetic trends and possibilities, guidance, advice, and just essentially guiding energies for you to create the best year possible for yourself, because I don't believe that the future is set in stone. I believe that most things are quite mutable because we have, a lot of creative control over our lives. However, it is something that we can do with tarot to look at the energies that we see in a spread and change maybe our attitudes or actions if we don't like what we see, and therefore ensure a different outcome. Or, if we see things that we do like, we may still have to keep, putting one foot in front of the other and taking action on our path in order to ensure that that outcome actually manifests. So I'm really just looking at like general guiding energies and insights, and also keep in mind that this isn't meant to be hard and fast or strict prediction by any means. All right, girl, so I had a lot coming through in the meditation for you, and I feel like it makes sense because you are working on the level of spirit a lot, and I was getting the sense that you are living a spiritually guided life. Like, I'm not sure what your disciplines are or how you have been kind of tuning in and connecting yourself to higher energies, but I feel that you are doing so on a regular basis, and that your decisions and your kind of forward motion is definitely like a big part of that is guided by your intuition. It's guided by your connections with spirit as well and your higher self. So I do feel like you're right on track in a lot of ways. And so the first thing that I heard, and keep in mind, I haven't gone back and checked in with anything that you've shared with me before, or like from the last reading that we did. I believe it was like maybe around the beginning of this year. I haven't gone back and checked anything like that because I always like the readings to be of the purest energy of the present moment. So if some of this that's coming through from spirit is redundant, then it's probably just because, it's still active for you. Or maybe if it's new, then it's new energy coming in. So I heard the words open sesame. So I feel like there's some kind of something that's parting for you, like some kind of the sea is parting for you in some way this year, in 2019. And I just saw the word happiness like flashing up, like kind of on my inner eye. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of happiness this year for you. I mean, every year is going to have its challenges, but I feel like overall for you, Tiffany, like you have a really happy year ahead of you. There's a lot of joy that I'm picking up, and I feel like you're just, you're blessed is really like the feeling that I get. As far as guides, I asked to be connected to a guide that maybe you haven't worked with before, that maybe you're not aware of, or that wanted to come forward as like influential for you at this time. So I'm not sure if you're already connected with this spirit or not, but I was shown like a woman coming forward, and she had like a cloak on, which is sort of my understanding of that is that when they show up like that, it's a guide that you don't necessarily know everything about them yet, and so they're cloaked because they don't want me to see everything about them. It's like just a key points that they want to relay. But anyway, she had like a hood on, like a white hood, and her face was kind of shadowed, so I couldn't see a lot of it. But I was seeing green eyes, like I felt like there was green eyes, and I heard the word either Esmeralda or Emerald coming through, so it's one of those. I'm not really sure, sometimes like similar names. it come through at the same time, so it's hard for me, but there's, and I normally don't even get that many names of guides unless the person's like really tuned in or maybe really clairaudient. I don't really tend to get that because I feel like, oh, I don't know, they just usually don't give me names. So this feels like a very personal guide to you, almost like a facet of your higher self, I want to say. Like it's a projection of you, I feel, but it's also like a separate entity, but it's part of you, if that makes sense. I hope that's not totally just like out there, but she had like the white kind of cloak on, and she had a black crow on her shoulder. So I don't know if you ever like see a figure like that, if you have a dream, or if, you know, during meditation, if you see something like that, just know that's her energy coming through. And with the green eyes and the name Emerald, I feel like there's also connection to the color green there. So that was the main guide that I was picking up. I feel like you're still working with whichever ones you know, are in contact with regularly, but that one was coming through as like a guide that helps you to indulge your free spirit, even with things that are tactile and which can be burdensome, or, you know, for example, like with a business or something like that, there's things that we have to be pragmatic and practical about, but then there's also this part of it that allows us to be a free spirit, or like there's a part of us as entrepreneurs that must be allowed to be a free spirit in order to pursue kind of like what we're being called to. So I feel like this guide is helping you. She kind of had almost like a transient, what's the word? Almost like gypsy-ish kind of energy. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's something like she just is more of a traveler in a sense. So you could be traveling. She could be helping you with some traveling as well, or anything that you want to make any big moves on in your business. I feel like she would be a good guide to kind of call on, because she has this, again, like a free spirit energy, and she has like a let's pick up and go kind of like mobilization energy to her. So interesting. I hope that this is helpful to you in some way, and that you can, you know, continue to nourish that connection. I also saw something about getting in touch with a past life this year. I feel like it's not necessarily like through a reading or anything though. I feel like it's something like in 2019 where you're going to connect with maybe like either a shamanic healer or a shaman, or if you do anything, any type of hypnosis at any point this year, if that's something that has called to you, even if it's just a dream that you have or a really vivid kind of vision that you have, even if you're not sleeping, I feel that there's some kind of past life that's coming through that you're remembering in 2019 at some point during the year, and it's an important part of your soul's growth in this lifetime, is remembering that past life. I was picking up almost like a Native American feeling from the past life, but I don't want to influence it because I feel like it's meant to be for you. Like it's something that you're meant to have a direct experience of rather than have someone else like tell you about it. I feel like it's something that's going to happen kind of autonomously within your psyche. So that's going to be really interesting. I also saw something about a potential pregnancy for you. So if you are not wanting that right now, if you're wanting to kind of, you know, if you're not wanting to like expand on your family, I would definitely say be careful with any like contraception efforts that you have going, because I feel that there is the potential. It's not saying that it's like supposed to happen or anything like that, but it's like there's a potential. It's almost like a question or like an invitation. It's like, do you want this right now or do you not? Because you don't have to. It's like an offering that's being made. So if you are wanting that, then, you know, that's great. And if you're not, then just, you know, make sure to keep telling the universe that you are not wanting that through your actions. Because I was definitely picking up something about that. I felt your marriage is going to be really strong this year, and I felt that your partnership is going to be something that really gives you like the ability to co-create something. It might be a pregnancy, or it could be something in your business, because I did feel like a new project coming in. There's like a new spark or like a new inspiration that you're wanting to do. And there might be some changes that you want to make with your business this year. So if that's the case, the message for you on that is to be brave, to be courageous. I feel like you're going to be, well, you already are a leader, but I feel like you're going to really feel that sense of being in the leadership role, especially because this year is your chariot year. So 1 plus 30 plus 2019 is 2050. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7's the number of the chariot. So you probably knew that. But I feel like, you know, when you're in your chariot year, it's definitely a time of forward motion and expansion, but it comes from your own willpower. It comes from your own desires to move forward in a particular direction that is, like, again, coming from you, not kind of like what someone else around you might be saying, or, you know, it's like you have to kind of harness the energies that are at your disposal and direct them, like, influentially, or otherwise, like, you might feel pulled in a bunch of different directions. So definitely be really intentional this year about what you're trying to accomplish and be organized. You know, it's another theme that can come up a lot in the chariot year, is like, whoa, hang on, I need to get control over, you know, all these disparate little areas of life. So you could be dealing with some of that. And I feel like, again, there's just this sense of trusting yourself as a leader, trusting yourself to make decisions, because you have a really strong connection with your intuition. Just like I was saying in the very beginning of this reading, I feel like you are really practiced at this point with tuning inward for guidance and listening to yourself and listening to your guides and your higher self. I feel like that's something that you're getting really, really good at. So just keep doing that is basically what I get, and you'll be able to surmount any obstacles. Okay, now let's take a look at your, just going to do like a general energy reading so that I can get some insight, and then I'm also going to do the month by month after that. So we're not going to go too deep into each card in the Celtic Cross here. It's more just a way for me to get some general advice for you. Tiffany. That was it. Okay. Okay. So we've got the Emperor crossed by the Three of Cups, which is the energy coming in. That's really beautiful. Again, just like I was feeling that sense of happiness, you know, coming through. We have the Devil in reverse at the root, which is great. Page of Cups, Seven of Cups. Interesting. Next up is the Knight of Wands. Six of Wands. In your overall energy with your partner, we have the Knight of Swords. Your guidance is the Two of Wands, yeah. And we have the Three of Wands in the direction things are headed. So this is definitely a very powerful year for you in business, Tiffany. I feel that there's a lot of emphasis on you making clear decisions and taking responsibility for those decisions and the trajectory that those decisions take you on. With the Emperor crossed by the Three of Cups, I feel like you are in your right placement in the world. I feel like you have really good relationships around you. I feel like you've built essentially like a really cohesive life And that's what I get from this, is like the Emperor is in his right place, especially just in the starting point, and you're a business owner, and you have this structure and these routines, and you have been working on something that brings you closer to people who resonate with you on a deeper level. And so I just feel like overall this is telling me like you're in a really good place, and there's gonna be more growth. And I feel like it is going to be growth in a direction that makes you more passionate, or that helps you kind of pursue your passions. With the devil in reverse at the root, it shows me also that you could have broken free from some limiting beliefs recently, like in 2018. The devil in reverse in the subconscious is like, I want to say the word linguistics for some reason. When I look at that, I feel like maybe there were some ways that you had talked about or even thought like internally about yourself or different things in life. And I feel like you have broken out of some like maybe negative definitions that you've had. And I feel like you've genuinely released something that has kind of held you back mentally. So that's something to, be, very aware of, and to acknowledge within yourself that you actually have let that go, so that you can, move forward and not recreate it anymore. So acknowledge your success, celebrate it, because I do feel like you've gotten free of something. The Page of Cups in reverse makes me feel like, I'm not really sure if this is going to make sense to you, but I almost feel like with like the energy that you're coming from, the Page of Cups is almost saying in reverse here that you have been working on something that has given you, and it has been in alignment with your like passion, and everything that you have created was something that you imagined having before. Like you imagined, having a good marriage, or you imagined having your own business, or you imagined having like all of these things that you now have. And I feel like part of this new growth that's about to happen is a result of you kind of having been in that place of like, okay, now I did this, and now I've like not only done it, but I've managed it for a while. I have, gotten the bases covered. I've proven that I can do this. I've proven that I can like be an adult, in whatever way that means to you. I feel like there's some kind of thing where you've like, the Page in reverse is like you've matured, and you've proven to yourself that you can live a life that's guided by like your vision for yourself, and actually have it, continue working, and that you can face whatever challenges come up and take charge. So, but with the reversal of that, it's almost like you are longing to kind of take it to another level, or like there's some aspect of you that wants to have a little bit more fun. The Seven of Cups in the advice from Spirit shows me that there's a lot of different options that you could be choosing from. And I feel like one thing that is coming to me with this card for some reason is like the mythic story of Psyche and Eros. I don't know how that is relevant to you, but that's kind of just what's coming through for me with this card. So I'm going to leave that with you, and maybe that can be part of your like further reading following this reading. Your further research following this reading, I guess, is the mythic story of Psyche and Eros. Something about that may hold a key for you in the upcoming year. The incoming energy is the Knight of Wands, and you also have the Three of Wands in the outcome position. So I actually feel that you could either be moving, moving your house, or moving your business, or going to like a new place somehow. Like you are not static this year. You are very dynamic. There is definitely a sense of motion coming in for you, and I feel like the cards are saying, yes, this is the right direction. Go for it, green light. This is all kind of like adventure energy that I'm picking up for you, and it's very fiery as well. So yeah, I would say keep going, move forward. This looks really good. I'm not sure exactly what it is, and maybe you know, or maybe you don't know, but there's some kind of like next step that may involve moving, or it may involve like a big transition that is really important for you to consider and to keep in mind. And that is also probably part of the theme of your chariot year, because you have the Two of Wands in reverse here as your guidance. So again, this comes down to creative decision making. And I feel like this card is saying, you know, the world is kind of your oyster. Like he's holding up the globe and he's looking out. Like the world is your oyster. Don't hold yourself back. I feel like you have a lot of potential. And when I'm looking at this, it's like, you know, yeah, think things through, do your research, but then it may be time to actually set out on a new journey, or maybe time to actually take like a next step. There might be a sacrifice involved too, with this, because you have the Six of Wands, which is very highly successful energy. But with the Six of Wands, it's also kind of a card that tells me that, you know, it's Jupiter in Leo. So when you have Jupiter and Leo together, it is such a big, expansive energy. It is like, you know, it's a really big victory, but it's also like a, it can be a trial, you know, before a victory, or it can be like something where you have to put a lot of effort out in order to see the success kind of manifest. So overall though, I feel like you are right on track. And this is, you know, part of like the hero's journey, I would say for you, Tiffany. Like you are on a hero's journey and you're in alignment with what you're doing. You have so much happiness around you, but you're also even going to be taking it to another level. You're going to be expanding even more. And, you know, there could be challenges with that, but I really overall feel that this is going to be an amazing year for you. And I feel like it's going to be a time where you're going to be like taking on the role of the adventurer. I'm not sure what sign your husband is, but with the Knight of Swords coming up in the area of his energy in this spread and in your life, we see that you're both showing up right next to each other as two knights. So you're young, you know, like the knights aren't like, you know, the kings and queens. Like you are working together, you are on the same team. I feel like you have each other's back, and I feel like you are embarking on a journey together, and you are, you know, you're both the knights, so you're both fighting for something and you're doing it kind of alongside each other. And yeah, I just feel like this is going to be a very active time. I feel like he may be really involved in your life, and not only just in your personal life, but also in your professional life in some way. He could be like helping you out or backing you up in some way, but overall I see this as yet another indication, after even what came through in the meditation about your relationship. I feel like you are like really running side by side, and that's a really healthy way to be in a relationship, because you're not like, you know, smushed together being like codependent and like, oh, like weird. It's more like, yes, let's like, we have each other's back, we're 100% on the same page, we are with each other, you know, we're backing each other up, and we're moving forward in the same direction, and we still give each other that little bit of, you know, space, but we are like solidly, you know, together. So that's kind of what I'm getting here, is just really like positive energy, basically. I feel like there could be a lot of success coming up, but it will be work, you know. You guys are in motion, being knights as well. These are the two fast moving knights. They're not the two slow moving knights. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot to do. But I feel like, you know, with these cards of success and new growth, I feel like you are moving in the right direction, and you have really solid relationships around you supporting you. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in your general energy. I hope that is helpful to you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the month by month. Okay, so we've got January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, November, and December. And I'm also going to get you some messages from the Energy Oracle. Okay. So let's take a look at January. Wow, so we've got a woman holding a coin and exchanging gifts. This is really beautiful. So yeah, there's some kind of really good stuff going on, I feel, especially for you with your business in January. It's also, based on what you shared with me, your birthday month. So I feel like there's just a lot of good energy. You could be receiving some gifts, or maybe you're just kind of looking over your finances over the past, period of months to a year, and you're like, wow, I actually did better than I thought. Or, maybe there's a financial gift that comes in, or some kind of abundance that comes in, really positive energy. So with the exchanging gifts card, it is also about delegation, I feel, and working with spirit as well, like recognizing that everything that you create is a co-creation with your muse or your guides or your higher self. Something that is outside of just who you know yourself to be is also helping you. So relying on that. But overall, I see you trusting your intuition with the cat next to her and the cat in both of these images. There's definitely that sense of like being connected to the animal consciousness, which is also your part of your soul archetype, the strength card. So, this is a sense when we see a woman with a feline energy in both of these, I feel, again, I'm just getting confirmation after confirmation for you, Tiffany, that you are on the right path and that you know that and you're tuning in and you're connected. So I really love that. Positive financial energies there. Think about what your intention is moving forward. Like if you could make just like however much money would be like your absolute goal, what would you then do? Or like start thinking about kind of like the next step. Like what's your intention here? Because I feel like you have something really good brewing. February, you have by the book and patience. So there's something with books that I'm picking up, like specifically like paperwork or something that you're working on in February. And it requires you to be patient, or there's something that you have to do in a step-by-step process. So the message here in February is to make sure that you're doing things right instead of just doing them fast. February is a month to be really meticulous. You are doing a really good job, though, I feel, with the by the book card coming up here like this next to patience. You might feel tempted to kind of like want to rush through something because you want to get on to the next thing, but these cards are saying take your time, slow down, be meticulous. You'll do great with whatever this project is, or whatever this, maybe you're doing inventory or something. I'm not really sure, but it's just like a peaceful time. It's like, yeah, this is a meticulous activity, but it's peaceful. March, we have building blocks and anxiety. So you are working on a new project, I feel, in March, and there's something about it that is causing you a little bit of stress, like mentally. But I would say that with building blocks, this is a card that really puts you on alert that something is increasing, and you are starting maybe from like a foundational point, or, remind yourself how far you've come from the foundational point. Remind yourself every step of the way, like all of the effort that has gone into what you're doing, because I feel that this anxiety is really unnecessary. Some of the anxiety that we feel is really our inner being telling us to take some kind of action, like some kind of practical action, and then that anxiety can therefore be kind of like disengaged from, because we've taken all the action we can take. And so from that point, it's like, all right, well, there's no reason to feel anxious anymore because I've been building it up. I've been taking all the action I can take. So what's the point in being anxious? Like, I've done everything I can. Now it's the universe's job, or now it's, you know, the next step isn't up to me. So I can just surrender. I feel like that's an important message for you in March. April, we have Orphaned in reverse with 6th chakra. So that's actually really nice. What I feel is that if during March, if you felt a little bit disconnected from your guides or your spiritual practice because you did maybe have some worries or some mental stress, that kind of thing, I feel that you are reconnecting with your guides in a very powerful way. April could be the month to watch as well for witnessing or remembering that past life experience. It could be like coming in around April or like springtime in general, because the 6th chakra is about your inner eye and, you know, seeing things like visions. And then Orphaned in reverse, it could be actually a hint, I almost feel, to like the quality of that past life and what that theme perhaps of having been orphaned, or that theme of having felt isolated or alone, how that has contributed to making you, you know, the person that you are today on a soul level, and also like in your physical reality as Tiffany. I feel like the Orphaned card in reverse is showing you that you're not alone, but it's at the same time, it could be showing you a situation from your past when you did have to face something alone, and you could be recognizing like strengths that you have on a soul level because of that. So this is really a deep month. I feel there's going to be a lot of movement on the inner level, but overall, I would say that the effects of this on your outer life is that you feel even more connected to the people that you're close with. May, we have Milk and Honey and Financial Constraints. So this is the only month that we've seen so far that has a little bit of a more tricky energy. So I would just say, you know, really take care of your finances leading up to May. Like, have some clear guiding principles in place for how you spend and save money. It could be, you know, depending on like when you pay your taxes and that kind of thing, this could be tax related. So make sure again that you are doing everything you can to be super organized with taxes, because, you know, April is tax time. So you may have had to like pay out more than you thought, or maybe there's something that comes up that's like, oh, I forgot to, you know, there was like an error on something, or, you know, I have to go back and send another check or something like that. And it might be a little bit annoying to you. I'm not saying it is for sure about taxes, but I'm just like, that's kind of like one possible option. It could also just be that your expenses increase, or like something gets you a little bit like irked about finances. However, I feel that you are like, the overall energy and theme of the year is shown with these first 2 January cards, just like in the general readings. And so with the woman holding a coin, I feel like this is saying that the dominant energy of 2019 for you in terms of money is abundance. Like, that's the dominant theme. So anything like that differs from that vibration is just going to be temporary. It's something you can handle. It's something that you can move past. So just be prepared, have a plan in place. We have Adjacent Possibilities and No Place Like Home in June. So there's something about like a change of residence possibly in June. It could be that you are considering something different. You could be looking at opportunities that you haven't thought about looking at before. Like, the Adjacent Possibilities card is kind of coming up to show you where you've been like having blinders on in your life and missing opportunities or missing things that you want because you've been so focused on like the door at the end of the hallway. You're not seeing all these other doors that are open for you. And the No Place Like Home is telling me it could be related to your home life or like the structures of your life. It could also be in relation to how you express yourself, and that could be a month in June where you're like looking for a new way, like a new creative outlet, basically, is kind of what I get. So be open to new ideas in June. Wow. And that really does lead to a powerful month in July with deep knowing and door to personal healing and happiness. Interesting, we have 34 and 43 here. So both of these add up to 7. July is going to be a really spiritual month. I feel that you will be very connected to your inner voice in July. With that deep knowing card, there's that sense of peace with the owl and that sense of like you have all of the answers. You don't need to seek them anywhere outside of yourself. Everything starts and ends with you, and you know that, and you're aware, and you're seeing positive reinforcements in your life because you've been trusting that deep knowing within yourself. Door to personal healing and happiness, again, makes me feel like you're just making really good choices in July for your health, and that you are like supporting your health and your happiness in very real ways. And there's just a lot of joy that I get out of these cards. So again, you know, just like I was picking up in the meditation, they even said the word happiness to me. And then you have the happiness card showing up. So I feel that you do have a lot of happiness. And July looks like, yeah, just a beautiful time. Interesting that we have another 3-4 card, a leg up and garden in the gate. So in August, it looks like you're thinking about taking something to the next level, but you need a little bit of support in your business, and things are going well in your business in August. I feel like there's like a sense of you being in the beautiful garden, but she has the key around her neck and she's looking at like where she wants to go. But the leg up card in reverse is saying you can't get there alone. You have to ask for help. So you might need to hire more help, or you might need to ask for help from your husband or ask for help from someone else near you. But overall, I feel like this is a really positive sign for you that you're gonna be able to take things, like things are doing well, and you're gonna take them even to a better place, but you need support in order to do that. Like in order to expand, you've come as far as you can with what you've been doing. Now it's time to expand the vision and expand the people that help you. In August. Wow. September, we have hostilities and not for you. So this is the only other month that I see where there is, like, besides May, a little bit of tricky energy in September. This isn't such a big deal, I don't think, but I want to get another little message for you, because hostilities can refer to, like, somebody who's just being petty and maybe talking about you behind your back, or somebody who's just kind of being really difficult to work with, and you're just like, oh, you know, like, can we just get along? But the not for you card is saying that you can't necessarily work with this individual. Like, if you do deal with somebody who's harboring like bad vibes basically, and you're trying to kind of like appeal to their sense of reason in September, the not for you card is kind of saying like, nope, sorry, this person is not going to be reasonable. They're not going to listen. They might be jealous of you, Tiffany. They might be jealous of something that you have. And so just, I would say, in order to protect yourself from this energy, just continue to act with total integrity, and then you won't even really need to react at all to that situation, because that person's just going to make themselves look like a fool. Honestly, that's kind of what I think, is like you have such like a clear sense of what you're doing, and you don't have to hide anything. You don't have to be, we had a couple jumpers. So we have the 3 of Wands and the Moon in reverse coming out here. So there could be like a path. I do feel the energy of movement, like either moving your business or your home for some reason, I want to say, but if it's not that, then it's like something akin to that. And you could be considering like one direction, but then all of a sudden realizing that there's like a bad neighbor or something, or like something's not quite right about one of the options. Yeah, it could be related to your business. And I feel like if this comes up and you're like looking to change something in your business, but then you run into like a potential thing where you're like, oh, that person has icky energy, I don't want to move here, or I don't want to do that because it's gonna they're going to complicate things for me. The Hangman is saying just wait it out. Just September is not the time necessarily to sign any new documents or to make any big changes. If you wait, you will find the right spot, or you will land in the right spot to make a lasting change, one that will provide abundance for you and your family, one that will create more stability for you in your business, in your career, and whatever you want to do. But it's saying, like, don't rush into it, because if you rush in, then you get this not for you energy, and you get this like hostility energy, which is avoidable. That's what these clarity cards are telling me. October, we have the Tribe in reverse and walking away. So October looks like you are walking away from a particular tribe. It could be like you could be letting go of some employees perhaps, or you could be taking a break from a branch of your family, or there's something like a group of people that you're walking away from. This could also be like a decision to, like a conscious decision to be a little bit of a hermit for a little while. Like, so you might kind of take a break from social media, or you could be like withdrawing from some kind of community, but it's temporary again. And I feel like it's for your self-care. It's for you to pursue something that is going to be like a more authentic connection to yourself. So whatever that is, going on, it's like you're doing it for a good reason, I feel, in November. We have Serendipity in reverse with Journey. So there's a new journey starting in November. Serendipity in reverse is making me feel that there could be like some like little things that might kind of trip up the beginning of the journey if you are going like on a trip, or if you're starting something new in November. But overall, I see that this is something that is kind of almost destined for you in a way, like whatever it is that you're doing that is representing a new journey that you're choosing to take yourself on in November. I feel like the Serendipity card coming up in reverse is saying like, yes, this is like divinely guided, but there's also going to be surprises. And so, with the Journey card, it's like, yes, keep putting one step in front of the other, plan as much as you can, but then also expect the unexpected, because there could be a little bit of unusual energy around that. Okay, and then December of 2019, we have the Thinking Man and Time for a Nap in reverse. So this could be a time when you could be needing to take a little bit of a break because you feel a little bit exhausted by your work with Time for a Nap. You might feel like you need to take a little bit more time off, or you need to separate yourself a little bit from all the action. Thinking Man could be saying that your partner may be helping you in some way, or he could be like taking over some of your responsibilities temporarily, or he could be giving you advice that could be really helpful for you at that time when you're just like, I really need some guidance, or I really need some help. He might be there to kind of like offer you some kind of wisdom, or he's there as like a really helpful force, and he may have some good ideas to support you, or he may have like something valuable to offer. So I would say, it's okay to lean on him a little bit in December of next year, because I think you're going to need a little bit of extra time to rest, a little bit more downtime. The Thinking Man could also be like, a male person that you work with, maybe somebody that works for you, or it could be a teacher as well. Secondarily, I would say, I'm not feeling that energy as strong, but it could be at that time that somebody is like offering you something helpful in some way, and it's helping you relax yourself and helping you kind of take a break, take it more easy. So that's what I'm getting. Interestingly, 2020, your year card is going to line up with your birth card, the Strength card, because this year you're in Chariot. Next year we'll add up to 2051. 2 + 5 + 1 is 8, which is your soul card. So, I feel like 2020 is going to be a really powerful year for you too. I feel like 2019 is... definitely, we see a lot going on, but I feel like there's something about 2020. It's almost like 2019, you're building something, like the foundations of something that will then kind of take you in a new direction in 2020. So that could be really interesting to see. I'm just going to get you your overall guidance card. Initiative. That makes a lot of sense because it is your Chariot year. So it is about taking initiative. It is about kind of moving forward. And play. So, that's really beautiful. So take initiative. Don't be afraid to make big choices and big decisions this year and stand by them. You're going to be, again, continuing and deepening your role as a leader, not only within your own business, but I feel like in the world in general. You're going to be leading more people. And I feel like the cards are kind of encouraging you to play with that and to bring a light heart, continue to bring your light heart to it. And, if you feel called to take some kind of initiative or make some kind of change, this is your moment, just go for it, I feel, because like I was saying, I feel like you're really connected to your higher self, and anything that you choose to do, while every new decision will bring up its own hurdles for you to jump over or under, it is going to give you more opportunities to recognize your full power and also to be more playful in terms of your creativity with life and to continue to kind of lighten your load, lighten any burdens that you feel you've been carrying. And at the same time, see yourself as kind of the spearhead or you are kind of by default, just because of what you're doing in life, you are at the front of a little movement that could turn into kind of a big movement for you. So yeah, I just feel like it's okay to see yourself in the leadership role this year, especially, being a strength soul in a Chariot year. It's inherent, it's part and parcel to who you are to allow yourself to be in that position of leadership and to own the fact that, your choices are coming from a deeper place. You're not just kind of trying to analyze data and then move forward. You're also moving with the flow of life. So I feel like that is a really special thing, and I'm excited to see what you're doing. So if you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you, Tiffany. Please let me know how you felt about your reading if you feel called to. And I'm sending you so much love for the new year. It looks like it's going to be amazing. The only months to watch are May and September. Really, I feel like May and September were the only times where I see a little tricky energy. But interestingly, a lot of the people that I read for have had more tricky energy in May and September or May and August. So it might be also something that's kind of just going around for everyone and not just for you. But, and normally I don't tell people about that, what I'm seeing in other private readings, but I just thought, for some reason, I just feel called to tell you that because I've noticed it. It's interesting. So anyway, sending so much love to you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your night. Happy anniversary belatedly, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.